Hey guys, welcome back to Tamiya Legends, and once again, thank you for stopping by. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe and notification button for our weekly videos. So today we're making a start on the cosmetic side of the Tamiya F104. Obviously it's an F1 car. There's quite a lot goes into these bodies, never ever done one before. So let's have a look at what we need to do. So there's a fair bit of work in this. So the first thing we've got to do, we've got to mask the main shell off, which I'll show you in a bit. We've got to whiz the front and rear wings off. The rear needs a bit of paint, the front just needs disassembling and the decals fitting, but we'll do that later. So the stuff we're using, let's just whiz this off. So the first thing on the main body, because this has been done already, I need to just tidy up the trim lines. I'll get a craft knife, and then I need to mask off where this line is. I need to mask that all off all the way along the shell, because this was sprayed all in silver and that's supposed to be black, so I'm going to have to spray that on the outside. It's not going to look the greatest, but the black kind of hides these parts and gives it the long nose appearance of an F1 car, so it needs to be done. I'm not touching those new side pods. I'm not going to cut this section out. I'm going to leave this on because if you watch the first video, we don't unfortunately have the big large red Vodafone decals, and I believe that kind of covers one of these lines, so I'm going to leave that for a later date. I can always go back to that. We've got a new F1 driver's head that needs to be painted. And then we've got the, what would you call it, the full air intake system is built up of 3 sections, which I'll show you. So we have, that's, in fact I'll show you the right side. So we've got 2 of these sections. This all needs to be cut out, and then this with double-sided tape gets stuck onto here, which gives this appearance of this much larger air scoop. And we also have the air scoop cone, which once that's in position, that goes over the top, and then we have this full section finished. So this is all going to need cutting out and then painting. As I say, I'm not going to use, that's the side air scoop, I'm not going to use that, which is unfortunate, but it's definitely something we could go back to at a later date if needed. So what we got, so the drivers, we're doing this in like the Lewis Hamilton 2009 car, I believe it is. So the helmet's going to be in yellow. I'm going to use TS47, which is it's the original Tamiya lunchbox colour, but there's a load of decals goes on this helmet. So I think, although it's not quite probably the correct yellow to use, it's still going to look good once the decals are on. We're using PS5 just for the standard black, which is straightforward. And the only thing I'm worried about slightly is I don't know what colour this was painted. It was supposed to be done in Tamiya chrome paint. I've never used a chrome paint, but I don't believe that this is chrome. I think this is just a bog standard PS12, and I really hope it is, because all the other sections are going to be sprayed in this. So we could end up with 2 slightly different silvers. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. I've got a feeling that when it's, even if it is slightly the wrong colour, once it's on the car, I think it's going to be pretty difficult to tell. But I am pretty confident that this is just bog standard silver. Famous last words. And that's it. So it's just a case now where we'll strip all the bits we need, and then we'll mask this off, and we'll get the, what we'll do is we'll get the spoiler off, because these sections, these 2 large sections on either side have got to be sprayed silver. So we'll whiz the wing off, we'll take these parts off, we'll mask this up, and then we'll go get that sprayed, and then we'll come back to it. In fact, at the same time I'll mask the helmet off and do the yellow, and then we'll start on the cutting out of the tricky bits. So let's get cracking. So that's stage 1. So I've stripped the rear wing. These 2 plates have to be sprayed in silver. I've built the driver's helmet up, and I've masked the visor, just 1 piece of masking, and then cut round it with a craft knife. Now that has a big black decal that goes over it anyway, so I could have probably sprayed it all, but I just thought while I've got the masking tape out, I'll do it properly. So that's yellow, these are silver, and then I've masked the main body off. So as you can see, all this chunk here needs to be black, so I've done that on both sides. and then just blitzed it with bog standard masking after the Tamiya. I've made sure the seal lines are good on the bottom, and when we spray it, we'll spray downwards, so we keep as much paint away from this as we can, and just spray those bits. So I think that's the next stage. We'll get these 3 colours on, and then when that's drying, we'll disassemble this front wing because there's no paint on this unit. Couple of screws at the sides and at the front, and we'll take this apart, and these little wings, and then we have these super cool chrome decals that we start fitting. You fit them while it's disassembled, so while the paint's drying, we'll get this front wing finished. So let's get spraying. Right, so that's the spray done. Now we're just letting it harden. So we've done the silver rear wing sides, we've done the helmet in yellow, and this is pretty dry to the touch now, but we've done the black on the underneath of the main shell. As I say, we're just letting it harden now, and then we've just cut out the air intake scoops and the actual intake itself. That was so fiddly. I'm kind of dreading this bit, but right, let's get cracking with the front wing. Right, so while we're waiting for all the paint to harden, we're going to make a start on this front wing, because as I said, there's no paint on this, but we do have to strip it. So there's 2 screws there which takes this cone unit off, and there's a couple of screws either side to take these wings off. And then you do it in 3 stages. So there's these really cool very sort of chrome decals. They look really cool. I think they're going to be a pig to fit, but got to wrap first of all round the edge of this wing with one when it's apart, and then we've got to build these side fins up with a standard Vodafone decal and then some chrome decals, and then on the main wing itself we've got to fit these chrome decals and these red, and then once we've got all the 4 pieces decaled up, then it all goes together, and then we can stick it on the car. So it's going to be fiddly, but let's get cracking. Wing's complete, and what a mission that was. That is tricky. Those chrome decals, if you've any blemishes on them, it shows straight up, which is a little bit unfortunate. From a distance, it looks absolutely cock on. I'm really liking it. I'm not too keen on these sides. They put a standard 2 standard silver decals on top of the chrome. They would have been much better in chrome. I know it's for detail and that, but yeah, it looks badass, to be honest. I like it. So now the paint will be dry on the side wings, so I'll get the decals on the wing next, and then we'll go from there. Right, she's starting to take shape now. It's amazing with Tamiya. You think when you're building these little bits up, and this doesn't look great, but when it's kind of finished and it goes together, they always look great. I don't know why I always think like that. So that's the wing done. All the decals are on. It's got a rear decal on. Looks pretty cool. And the wing looks pretty amazing, to be honest. Looks really good. So next step is I've got the body sprayed up black. I don't know if I showed you, I've got the helmet done. So we'll whiz this masking off, see if we've had any leakage, and then we'll go from there. Starting to look very cool now. I'm loving it. The black paint now it's just absolutely transformed, especially this long nose, because obviously the black's designed there to disguise the polycarbonate, but obviously you need it there to keep the strength, but it just looks awesome. And on the outside as well, it's turned out a treat. My lines are not 100% perfect, but they're good enough. So now obviously we've got the front wing on. That looks pretty badass. And then the rear wing's now finished. There's a decal behind, I don't know if you can see it. So that's all bolted down. I'll just screw the driver's head on. But very, very cool. I'm loving that, to be honest. So next stage is, I'm really gutted I haven't got these large decals for either side, but never mind. So the next stage is I'm going to leave the driver alone, his helmet, because I just want that to harden, because these decals are an absolute pain. But we'll stick whatever decals we've got. I mean, we've got a lot, and we've got tyre decals to fit and things like that. So yeah, let's bat on. I carried away and I forgot about this big air scoop we've got to do. This is going to be so tricky to do. This thing gets stuck to the body like that, and the air scoop goes on. Anyway, let's try fit it, and then we'll probably have to trim it down so it matches, because these two have to be identical, obviously. It's going to be a nightmare. There's some, oops, so it kind of slicks over the top. Obviously the front air scoop's got to go on. Anyway, let's try fit it, see what happens. I'll show you this. This is a disaster. I hate things like this. This is why, as I alluded to in an earlier video, where these F1 cars feel more like you're building a model than an actual RC car. So this is a 3-piece air scoop. I got the colour right anyway, that was good. It was just silver and not chrome. So you have to stick it, you cut it out and it sticks together. So this is sticking out, I'm just waiting to put the other side on. As you can see, you've got to cut it out. I've got gaps here which are not great. But I believe there's decals that cover it. So anyway, I'm going to get it on and then see what I can do with it. So that's that side, and then obviously this side won't do it, but has to go on. And then once the two sides are on, you have this air scoop that sits like that. So that's another bit that gets stuck down. So it makes a hell of a difference to the appearance of the car. You get all this extra back unit, but it's a bit tricky. So let's crack on and see if I can line it up. I knew this would be terrible, and it is terrible. And I've also got a bit of... So I couldn't get it to stick properly and get this wing. I don't think I was using thin enough double-sided tape, so this was springing open at the top. So I've glued it. I need to just file it. Once it's hardened, I'll just go over it with a craft knife and smooth it off, and that will improve it. But yeah, I'm not loving that at all. I mean, you have to have it on, because it would not look any good without it. You can see there that it makes a difference, but these lines here are absolutely terrible, so I'm going to have to do something with it, but I don't know what yet. So anyway, I've glued it up, I've glued the front scoop on as well. So what I'm going to do now is, while it's hardening, now we'll start putting the car decals on, and we'll see if that covers some of it up. It usually does with these Tamiya kits, but right, let's crack on. It's done. Really needs that big decal, but I'm not going to buy a set of decals just for one, because I'll be moving this on as soon as I've run it. But it looks pretty good, I have to say. Front wing's awesome. Looks pretty good. Put a little bit of detail on the driver, obviously. I've got Lewis Hamilton's setup on. I've done the seat belts and the steering wheel. But, oh, and the tyre decals look cool. Looks pretty good. Nice and detailed. Don't like the scope, that was horrendous. But yeah, all in all, it's a pretty bad boy. So that's it, it's done. Next stage will be to get the radio gear in it, but the weather's still not great. We just had another dump in the snow. Only just started to get out and started to do some running videos, and then it dumped about 6 inches of snow on us again, but it's just about gone. But this needs a super smooth piece of tarmac, possibly like a tennis court or something, where I'm still going to get the traction down. And I've got to look at this back diff and how you actually set it up. But anyway, yeah, the next video will get my radio gear in. But it looks okay. Not keen on the scoop. I've not done a great job of that at all. But hey ho, it's really not my kind of thing, this, if I'm honest. It's like building a 1/10 plastic model. Anyway, I'm jabbering on. It looks pretty sweet, I must admit, and I bet it'll be pretty quick as well. So thanks for watching. If you are new to this channel, if you could please consider liking and subscribing to support us, that'd be absolutely awesome. And as always, happy RCing.